Hi, I'm Mark Westcott.
I'm Sarah Cox.
And welcome to the Power of Great Questions. Today we just want to get together and sort of talk about why we've come up with this concept. I'm a great believer, and I know Sarah is as well, in regard to it's the questions you ask people, not the things you tell them, that create the greatest value. And both of us really have this belief that if you can get out there and make part of your daily routine that when you're speaking to people, you ask some great questions, then you're going to be really valuable in their lives, because people discovering for themselves what it is that they need to do is what makes all the difference, isn't it?
That's right, Mark. Well, when you ask someone a powerful question, the unconscious mind can't ignore that question.
Absolutely right. I did see that somewhere. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. But it's very true. No matter what you ask people, their subconscious is going to find the answer, isn't it? It's sort of like sends the elevator down and says, okay, what do I need to do to answer that question?
And it's an unravelling of that question. So it's not an immediate process. And if you've asked the question, then people continue to think about it and they come up with a specific answer eventually, and that is the right answer for them.
Yeah. One of the workshops I do with Strategic Coach, Dan Sullivan, asked me this question about 6 or 8 months ago. And the question was, what's the one thing that would keep you absolutely fascinated and motivated for the rest of your life? And when he asked that question, I went, wow, what a great question, because it really just cuts to the chase, because everyone has something. Everyone's on the planet for a reason, and everyone really has one thing that if they were free to be themselves and they were unbridled, so to speak, that they would pursue one particular thing. Do you like that question? Is that something that
absolutely
resonates with you?
I would say that too. I would say, what does the life look like that you would want to live to be the most happiest in this lifetime?
Sure. So what we haven't done is actually talk about what you do and what I do. So do you want to just have a little talk about what you do in regard to personal and business coaching?
I've got a coaching business, and I do life coaching, business coaching, leadership coaching. I also run a Primal Leadership business, which involves using horses.
I love the name. I love the fact that, and the fact that you use horses. I mean, that's just so unique, isn't it?
Yeah, and so what we do is we take people back to their primal, authentic self, and in this fast-paced technical world, we're losing who we really are, and it's around self-awareness, emotional intelligence, and communication skills.
We've talked about this before, and I'm absolutely fascinated with your Primal Leadership. One, I love the name, but two, I'm fascinated with what happens. We've kind of talked a bit about people that have come through the program and the way you run it and so on, and you're out on the farm, so to speak, with the horses in the yard. And I love the fact that one of the things you say when people come in is leave your egos and leave your titles at the front door, and then people go from there. That must have really created some great experiences for you, without naming names.
Yeah, so we do Primal Leadership on a beautiful manicured property in Belrose, which is 20 minutes from the CBD. And we say to CEOs, just leave your title and your ego at the front gate and come in and relax and have fun. And it's a really great way of just saying that horses don't care who you are and where you've come from. And I think that is the main predominant aspect that we've got that's really valuable for working with horses, because they give you immediate feedback.
Sure.
They tell you exactly how it is at any given moment. So how you show up is how a horse will represent you. Yep. So and the horse speaks a body language, which, as you know, is 80 to 90% of our language that we speak. So a horse is a highly sensed animal and picks up on energetics. And you get a really good idea of what you're doing in any given moment. So one has to be completely present and engaged in the moment for that horse to respect and trust you in order for you to be able to lead that horse. And that comes into leadership. And I can go into this further.
You can talk for half an hour.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
Good.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, and it's
no, that's fine. I've seen, Sarah. I've seen some of the videos from the workshops that you've run, and I love that moment when the person just walks away from the horse and the horse just turns and dutifully follows, because it's just got that connection with that human being. Have you had instances, for example, where the mailroom guy is the first to connect with the horse and the CEO just never gets there?
Oh, absolutely, Mark.
Yeah.
And I think that's the part that you come back to your primal, authentic self. because sometimes people elevate themselves for themselves and their ego, and they miss being their primal self, which is actually the part that we can really communicate with another human being. And business, as you probably would agree, is about building relationships and building solid foundational relationships which are based on loyalty and trust and respect. And so as you say, the mailman. Well,
the mailroom guy.
The mailroom guy. Anybody can relate to a horse if they're being coming back to who they really are, and the horse knows that. The horse picks up anxiety. It's actually great for autism, anxiety, depression, and a lot of mental diseases, because a horse just knows and will actually often flight away from those things, because that brings up survival instincts in them. They don't feel safe. And as a leader, we need to keep our people safe at all times, and a lead horse for their survival will lead horses to green pasture, and that's how they survive. And in business, that's how we survive as well.
Sure, sure. You can talk about this.
I can. So
no, that's fine.
Subject,
we'll talk about another subject soon. But no, one of the interesting things that you've talked about before is how a lot of times people try and command respect in the workplace. So a lot of the leaders sort of garner their respect by effectively carrying around a big stick and saying, you will do this and you will do that. And I think that's what the beauty of this program is, that it brings everyone back down, doesn't it, to a personal and relationship level, and back to basic human interaction. And if you can get people in your organisation, you found this really good in sales teams and so on, haven't you? That's where you've got great, so from a value point of view, if a team can come together and do this program, it's actually going to enhance the value and the rewards from the sales team.
And it's about assertiveness. It's not about control or power and having domination over another human being. It's about relating and if you've got the self-awareness, so you know who you are and you know the impact on others, having emotional intelligence, empathy for others, you can communicate in a much more direct and assertive way, rather than the old traditional way of the iron fist, and now even the fact that you put yourself last. A officer in the Navy puts themselves last to keep their team safe, and there's just particular skills that you learn as when we do the programs. That's what a lead horse does. They're all the time looking after their herd. And that's what you need to do with your team.
Unlike the captain on the Concordia, was it? The boat that sank, and the captain was the first one off. He wouldn't have passed the horse test.
I don't think so.
Anyway, enough horsing around. So what we'll talk about now is, I've been waiting to say that.
You mean horses for courses?
Horses, okay, let's stop. Okay, now some of the other stuff you do personal coaching and business coaching on a one-on-one basis, and I know you have really great results, and you work with some really high-level people, don't you? You get really excited, and I love it when I talk to you after you've been with a client. You just radiate, because it's just your absolute passion.
Yeah, it is my absolute passion. I love to see results, and I love to see people excel in who they are and be who they are. And when I individually coach, I I'm privileged enough to have those people trust me and be very honest with me, and that's where we get results. The truth actually is progress.
That's right. Well, you can't make any progress till you tell the truth, can you? That's one thing that's very true.
Yeah. So in my individual coaching program, I do life coaching, I do business coaching, and I do leadership coaching. It all comes down to the same formula of knowing life values, knowing the life vision that you want to live, and knowing who you are and what your passions are, what your strengths are, so that you can follow those strengths and passions at all times. So it's a way of not deviating away from who you really are and what makes you particularly happy personally and professionally. And if people understand that on a basic primal level.
You're not going to go back to the horses, are you?
Well, no, I won't go back to the horses, but it's the foundation of how we live and how we live a fulfilled and purposeful life.
Okay. Sarah, when we first met, you had some really great questions you asked me. Would you mind going through just a couple of those again? Because I think people would really find that valuable.
Yes, Mark. The first question is, if you were to describe your life that you would want to live, to be the happiest person that you could be, what would it look like?
Okay.
The second question is, what is the 3 incremental steps that you would take right now to move you toward the person to live that life that you would like to live?
Okay, so what you're trying to do, I love the questions. What you're trying to do is take people out and sort of build that big future for them, then bring them back and say, okay, what are the bite-sized chunks that
right.
we can start with right now?
So that's bringing them back to specifics. So the life question is the umbrella question, the big picture question, and then the specific question is, what can you do right now in this instant to move you forward into the life that you would like to live and to be the person that you want to be? And the third question...
Okay, you can have 3.
would be, what are your passions and unique strengths that you would use to take you to that life that you would like to live?
Okay, that's great. So helping people come back to what their unique skills and abilities are. And work out what they love doing, what they're really good at, that generates great results. Is that right?
That's right, and being more specific once again, and so it actually relates to them.
Okay. One thing I find when coaching people is that a lot of times people are very fluffy in regard to their goals, aren't they? It's kind of like, I want to get fit, I want to have $1 million or something like that, but they don't put any time frames. They don't get specific in regard to an amount, and they don't get specific in regard to a time frame. Do you have a way to help people sort of really narrow that focus? And because, when the mind has something specific to go for, the mind will help you in every way it possibly can to achieve that. So what tools do you use?
So I use a lot of questions. My program is basically very simple. You work out your life description, and then you come down. So it's a big funnel. So it's the larger picture, and then you come down to the goals of how you put them out onto the timeline, and then you come back to KPIs and then coaching actions. Okay. So it comes down to specifics. What is, you write that on the tablet of your heart, your values and your life plan or your life vision, and then work out the goals, and their specific goals, and using the 5 senses in the present moment, so in the present tense. And then you come back to your key performance indicators, how you can measure how far you're going at any given time, and then your coaching actions, which are what you're doing just on a day-to-day basis to move you towards your KPIs. Okay,
that's great. So what we're doing as part of the whole program is looking at putting together initially 20 interviews with successful business owners, entrepreneurs and startup people as well, and then moving forward from there. So what sort of got you excited about getting involved in this whole project?
I think I totally agree with you. Asking the most powerful questions can be life-enhancing, and it can really direct people into a purposeful and fulfilling life. Okay. So, it's something that I really believe in as well.
Yep. Okay. We're really excited about the people that are coming up in the next interviews we're doing. Up in the next podcast, the next video will be Rob De Castella, a famous Australian marathon runner, and I'm really excited to speak with Rob about what he's doing now. He's working with Indigenous children around Australia, and he's got the Indigenous Marathon Project. Rob's been very successful in a number of areas, and I'm kind of keen, because he's not so much as an entrepreneur, but I'm really kind of keen to see what Rob does to garner the best results out of the people that he's working with at the moment. And he's a very clever guy. Really have a lot of respect for Rob. He's a great guy, and I'm really intrigued to see what he's doing now in regard to the questions he asks, or the way he creates motivation or brings out the motivation in people to get their best results. So I guess until the next time, I'm Mark Westcott.
And I'm Sarah Cox.
And always remember the value of great questions. Thanks for your time.
Thank you. Thanks.